Hi everybody, I'm Mark Wallace, and today we're going to take an in-depth look at Evoto. Evoto is the photo retouching software powered by AI. It is pretty spectacular, so my friends over at Evoto asked me to take a look at this and then share with you all of my thoughts. And so I thought, instead of just doing a product review, what I would like to do instead is to do some edits and show you exactly how all of these tools and things work, so you can make the decision for yourself if this is right for you. In fact, you don't have to take my word for it. If you look in the description of this video, you'll see that I've included a link where you can download the software, plus you get 30 credits where you can export 30 images and use them, and actually use this tool at absolutely no charge just to get you started. And so what I want to do is just to show you all of the stuff that you can do with this, because it's incredibly fast and easy to use. And so let's just dive right in. The first thing I want to do is show you how you can retouch images with just one click. And so let's start. We have, this is an image, in fact, a set of images that I have taken of my friend Conga here, and you can see that there are a bunch of different issues that we need to resolve. So we have some tonality issues, the color is not just great, we've got issues over here in the background, we've got some sensor dust, we've got some blemishes on her face. And so watch this. I'm going to edit all three of these images, do all of the frequency separations, all of the blemish removal in about 20 seconds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my presets. I've got a demo preset that I've already created called Conga Headshot. I will click on that, and then when I go over here, boom, there it is. It's all done. Notice that the background is all cleaned up. Her skin is cleaned up. The tonality is cleaned. In fact, if I hit the space bar, you can see the before and after. It is pretty spectacular. Now, I know you're wondering how I just did that. I'm going to show you exactly how you can create your own presets for your own lighting setups and your own styles, so that you can do the one-click editing that I just did. It looks like magic, but, well, it sort of is, but I will show you how it works. Now, the other thing I can do is I have a bunch of images in this set, and I want to do the skin retouching on all of those and the background cleanup on all of these. Now, I didn't use a tripod, so all of my dust spots and stuff are not in the same place. So traditionally, we would have to go in and use a healing brush and do all of that stuff manually. But check this out. I'm going to click on this image, which is already done, and then I'm going to shift click all of the images in this set, go over here to the right and click sync. I'll choose to sync everything, save that. And boom, now I've just edited all of those images. And so if I go and click on this second image here, you can see, look at that. The skin retouching, done. All the background stuff is done. If I go over here to this one, look at that. Before, after, before, after. And so I was able to do all of that retouching just by using a preset that I had built earlier. And we're going to do that in this video. Okay, so let's take another look at how these tools work. So we're going to work step by step by step, so you get more and more of an understanding of how Evoto does all of this stuff. So the second thing we want to do is, let me just show you a little bit slower how we can edit an image. And so I've got this image here. This is of Shonda. We need to fix the color. You can go in here and see that we've got some complexion issues, so we need to fix all of that. And so first, let's fix the color. So on the right-hand side, we've got all of these different areas. This one is for color adjustments. So I can do AI color adjustments or normal traditional color adjustments, plus exposure and highlights and shadows and all that kind of stuff that you're probably used to from other editing software. So what I'm going to do here is first fix the white balance. So I'm going to click on this little picker here. I'm going to say this is neutral gray, and boom, I have fixed the color temperature in this image. Now I want to do all of the retouching. So traditionally, I'd have to do frequency separation, use a healing brush, go in and do all this stuff. But on this one, I'm just going to go to a preset, and there's one that I really like called High End 1. I'm going to click on that, and then watch what happens. Boom, done. Done. It's all done. Before and after, all of that skin retouching is finished. I'll zoom out here, before and after. This will make a lot more sense the deeper we go into the tool. Let's go in here and adjust this image of my friend Nikki here. Now, if you'll notice that she's got some clothes here that we should have ironed in the studio, but we didn't. Notice we also have a bunch of sensor dust on the background. Up here in the right-hand corner, there's a softbox, and then she needs some minor skin retouching. So we're gonna do all of that very, very quickly. So let me fit this here. First thing I want to do is let's de-wrinkle her clothing. So on the right-hand side, we've got all these different sections, and this one right here with a little shirt, that's for clothes. So to de-wrinkle the clothing, I'll just slide that to the right. Boom, clothes now de-wrinkled. Before, after, before, after. It's just that fast. I also have control of if I want to remove the fine wrinkles or not, if I want to remove the coarse wrinkles or not. And so I can choose exactly what the AI is doing. That is pretty spectacular. But notice we also have all of these dust spots on the background. We've got to get rid of those. So let's go over here. We've got a tab for background adjustments. And then we have this clean solid background. Normally you'd have to get a healing brush tool and go in and manually get all these dust spots out of there. I'm just going to click that. Bonk, look, it's done. It's clean. It's all I had to do is just click one thing and it cleaned up that backdrop. Now we do have this softbox, which is in the upper right hand corner. So I can go up here and grab this healing tool. I've got a traditional spot healing brush tool. I've got a patch tool and a clone tool. So I'm just going to clone that out. So I'm going to hit Alt or Option, depending on if you're a PC or Mac, choose my starting area. I'm just going to go and sort of brush that out. And then I want to make this look a little bit more pleasing. And so I'm going to use this, the headshot background changer. So if you don't have different seamless papers in your studio, that's okay. This is going to make this really, really easy. So all I have to do is just click on white or gray or one of these colors here, and I can just change the background with a click of a button because the tool knows what the background is. I don't have to mask it. It just knows. I don't even have to tell it to choose the background. It just does it. It's really, really cool. So I'm going to choose this Fabric 02. It looks a little bit like Gavin Hoey's old studio, but I think that's a little bit too much for me. And so I'm going to take the opacity, I'm going to blend it with my background just a little bit. So that's about right there. So look at that before and after. It's looking so much better. Then the last thing I want to do is I just want to fix some of the skin here on Nikki's face. And all I have to do is just go and choose one of these presets. So I'm going to choose Natural 02, click, and then it's going to go in and do all that stuff for me. She doesn't really need anything, but I just clean things up really fast. And look at that. I was able to do all of that stuff just with a couple of clicks. Now, what if I want to apply that to another image in this set? So I've got this one. She's got some wrinkles there. She's got the background that needs to be fixed. All I have to do is choose the source image, hit Shift on 1 or 2 or 5 or 100 different images that I want to sync. And then I can go over here and click Sync and then say what I want to sync, which is everything. And then it's going to do it. So I'll go over here to this one and then check this out. It's updating and boom, it's all synced up. Now the only thing that didn't sync is just this little tool right here needs to be cloned out. So I will do that really quickly. So I'll just click here and just like that. I'll hit OK. And then there we go. Before, after, before and after. It's just really incredibly quick. And what we're going to do is I'm going to click here on this image. This is of Emily. And I want to slow things down a little bit. We've been using these presets. I want to show you what's happening under the hood and how we can build a preset that we can use over and over. You can use these presets. You can build your own presets that match maybe a lighting style, a background that you're using, a location. Then anytime you're shooting in that same place, that same lighting scenario, instead of having to go in and redo everything, all of the portrait retouching, the blemish removal, the background cleanup, all that kind of stuff, you can just click one button and poof, it will automatically apply all of that stuff. And because it's using AI, it's going to do all of that blemish removal and everything just automatically. And so let's walk through this. So we have this image here of Emily. The first thing we need to do is fix the color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to choose this background because I know it's a neutral color. And that resets my white balance. Now I know this white balance is a weird white balance. So I can go in here and just type in that it's 4220 and I've got a proper exposure. So I can do my slider, I can use a color picker here, or I can manually type in my setting. You can do that for all of these different things. The other thing I want to do is I want to fix my tonality. So all these tools that you're used to from just legacy editing applications are available here. So I'm going to change my exposure just a little bit. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to take my highlights down a little because her forehead's a little bright. I'm going to open up my shadows. So just some pretty traditional stuff to begin with. Now, once that's all done, I can show you the before and after. My color and tonality is done. But what I want to do is I want to start going in here and doing all of the retouching, getting rid of the red veins in her eyes, brightening these things up, removing some blemishes. And so I want to do that really quickly. So what I will do is let's go to this second tab right here, the portrait retouching tab, and let's start walking through this. So you can see that these are broken up into different sections. And so we've got blemish removal and skin retouching and all of these different things. We're going to start with blemish removal. This freckles and acne slider is something you'll use a lot. And so what I want to do here is I want to go in and remove these blemishes. All I have to do is just slide this to the right. So I'll slide it over there to about 90, something like that. And look, before and after, these freckles and things gone. All I had to do was slide this over. That's it. Now you have control over if you want to remove freckles or not, if you want to remove acne. So if somebody has freckles and acne, you can get rid of the acne and leave the freckles alone, which is just fine. The other thing I want to do is just reduce some of the face shine here, so just a little bit. The next thing after that is we've got to reduce a little bit of the eye bags here. So we've got this slider that is for that. So I'm going to move that over about right there, maybe a little bit more. That looks pretty darn good. And then she's got a little bit of darkness under her eye, so this lower eyelids here, I can move that back. So I can choose exactly what I want to do with that. That looks pretty good. Okay, the blemish removal I think looks pretty darn good. I'm hitting the space bar to see before and after. The next thing I want to do is I want to do some skin retouching. So if we're familiar with old school burning and dodging, it takes a long time to darken the dark areas and lighten some other areas to sculpt the face. This, again, we just have a slider. So I'm going to slide this over here to about 40%. And you can see that that's adding just a little bit of darkness there and lightness here. That looks pretty darn good. The other thing I want to do is smooth out her skin just a little bit. Now this face skin smoothing is the equivalent of a frequency separation technique that you would use in Photoshop. That would take forever to go in and create all those layers and do everything. This, I just slide this slider and look at that. I'm getting that frequency separation. It looks wonderful. I'm going to take this to about 50%. That looks pretty good. There's the before and after. And when you do a frequency separation like this, it sometimes you'll lose the detail in the skin. So what I can do is I can add that in by just clicking on skin texture. So I can do a matte or a satin or a dewy look. Then I can control the intensity of all of that. I think that looks pretty darn good as it is. I'm hitting the space bar before and after. Now let's go in and let's start looking at these eyes. So what I'm going to do is close skin retouching. I'm going to go into the eyes here. Now we can do a lot of things with the eyes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to brighten them just a little bit. So I'm going to go up here to about 38. So I can go really bright or just something like that. So I don't want to go too far. The other thing I can do is I can flare the irises. So if I do that, you can sort of see what that looks like. So again, I'm going to just sort of do a subtle flare here, about 40. Now one of the things in this image, we've got a good catch light in this eye, but not in this eye. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over here and then I'm going to click on, let's choose indoors. That's pretty good. I can click on a bunch of these, but I think that is a pretty good catch light. And then the other thing, if we look really closely, she's got some red veins in her eyes. So all we have to do is just take this removing red veins, slide that over, poof, they're gone. So gone are the days of going in with the healing brush tool and manually removing those. You just slide this slider and take those out very, very quickly. The other thing I want to do here is I want to sculpt Emily's face just a little bit more. And I can do that with these tools right here, the makeup. I can artificially add makeup. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go down here to this makeup suite. And if I click on this, it's just going to add makeup. In fact, I'm going to zoom out here. Notice that it's also changing her facial expressions just a little bit. That's okay. We have total control. We can change that to whatever we want it to be. So for this, I'm just going to choose vivid, and then I'm going to back that off a little bit. So I'm going to take that down from 80 down to maybe 30%, something like that. There we go. So there's the before, there's the after. Let's go in here and look at that. I'll close this panel so we just get a really good look at what we've done. That is pretty amazing. Before and after, just in a couple of clicks. Now what we want to do is we want to save all of that stuff so that we can apply it in the future with just one click. So what I can do here is I'm going to go over to this portrait retouching, and at the very bottom there is a button that says Save Preset. So I will click on that, and then I can create a new group. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new group. I'm going to call this new group Marks Presets. I'll save that group, and then let's type this in as Emily Final with makeup. There we go. I will save. I'm going to save all of the adjustments. Save. Okay, now I've just created a preset. So that thing I did at the beginning where I clicked the button and everything changed, now I can do that again. So here is the image. I want to change this. So I'll just go over here to my presets, to my presets. There's that group I just created. There's the Emily Final. Click, boom. Everything that I did is now applied with one click. So anytime I shoot in the future and I want to make this same look, it's there. I can just click it and use it as many times as I want. I really love this Emily shot, but let's keep going. I'm gonna click here on this shot of Carissa. I've already made the tonality and color changes. I wanna focus on the skin retouching and blemish removal. So we're over here in portrait retouching. I'm gonna zoom into 100%, maybe even a little bit more. So really quickly, let's just do what we did before, freckle and acne, and let's go up to about 95. And we're already seeing some really big results here. Notice though that she also has some blemishes on her body. That's okay, we've got this body blemish slider here, so I'm gonna put that up to about 80. That gets pretty much everything. Even at 100, we still have this one little blemish here. That's super easy to fix. I'll just click on the healing tool and I'll just do that. Maybe this guy right here. Okay, so we can see before and after. We've already done all of that just with a couple of sliders. Now the other thing we want to do here, I'm going to go up to her face. Let's start working on these eyes. And so we have these eye bag slider right here. Let's go up to about 34. That looks pretty darn good. And then let's also go in and start working on this skin just a little bit more. So we're going to close blemish removal, open skin retouching, and then let's do some dodging and burning. So this right here, we'll go up to about 80%, a little bit more than that. Yeah, so we're just getting a subtle burn and dodge on her cheekbones to bring out that shape and texture. It looks really wonderful. We'll do a frequency separation just slightly here to sort of fix up a little bit more. That is really looking awesome. Let's add some skin texture in. You can see how it's adding that skin texture here on her upper cheeks. That looks really, really wonderful. Then the other thing that we can look at here is I want to make sure that her face and her body, the complexion matches. And so we have this slider here, this AI Unify Body Complexion. And so what I'll do is I'm going to slide that all the way to 100%. And look at how her face and her body, now it matches. I think that's a little bit too close because we have light coming from above. It shouldn't be the same. So I'm going to take that down to about 50%. And then, oh yeah, that looks a little bit more natural. I like that. Okay, now it's time for us to go in and do the finishing touches. We're going to add some eye retouching. So let's close this, open this up. Now what we're going to do is let's brighten the eyes just a little bit. She doesn't need a lot because we have just beautiful eyes there. We'll flare the iris just a little bit. That looks pretty darn good. There's the before, there's the after. We could probably stop right there, but what I think we should do here is let's go down to this makeup. And I think if we add some makeup, it's just really gonna finish this off. And look at that, boom. Again, that's too much for me. So let's take this down to, I think about 40%. And then I'll go to 100%. Look at that, before and after. That just looks incredible. And so what I wanna do is I wanna take this look and I wanna apply it to these other images here. So I'll fit these on the screen. So this and this, let's apply that. So all I have to do is I need to click on this source image and then shift click all the other images in this set. So I will do that. Then I'm gonna go down here to sync. I will click on that. I'm gonna choose what I want to apply. And so I'm just gonna select everything. Even though I didn't crop it, I'll go ahead and select that. Click save, and then it's going to add all of that. So here it is, it's adding all the effects, and then bammo, there it is, it's done. If I go over here to this one, same thing, I'll zoom in, bammo. All of that skin retouching, all of that sculpting, all of the stuff that we've done on the first image is applied to everything. And so it's just there. I could save that as a preset if I want. I could apply that over and over. I think that looks really, really spectacular. Now there are a couple other things I want to show you. So let's go over here and look at this image. In fact, we've got two images in this set. This is Quinn here. Notice we've got this glare on her eyeglasses. If I go in here to 100%, you can see we've got a bunch of flyaway hairs. And then down here, we've got some folds in her armpit. Some models just hate that. And so I want to go ahead and fix that, not only in this image, but in this image and every image in this set. And so I only want to do it once and then apply that to everything. The AI is going to take care of all of that for me. So the first thing that we want to do, let's go ahead and fix this hair. So I'm going to go into 100% here so we can see the stray hair. I'm going to go over here to portrait retouching, and then I'm going to close the makeup, and then let's go to hair. And then we've got this remove stray hairs. I'll just zip that over. And then watch this. Boom, they're gone. Stray hair's gone. That's it. There's no going in and manually having to do that. It's just really crazy. So you can adjust the amount that that's done, but there it is. Okay, let's take a look at this down here. We've got this, and so we want to fix that really quickly. And so that is really easy. So we can go over here to Blemish Removal. And then we have this armpit fat slider. So I'm just gonna take that, put it over here to 100%. Watch what happens, poof, that is gone. In fact, I don't even have to have that at 100%. I think I'd take that back to maybe 80% just to make sure we don't overdo it. Yeah, so that's gone. So before, after. The hair, before, after. Now let's take a look at this glare in her glasses. And so to do that, all we have to do, let's close this blemish removal. Let's go back to the eyes. And then we have this slider, glasses glare. Slide that over, glare in the glasses, gone. That's it. I just had to slide this over and it's removed. It is pretty darn crazy. Okay, that's cool, but what if we have to do that to a bunch of images in a set? Again, all we have to do is click on the original image that we've already edited, shift click anything else that's in that set, then I'll hit sync. I can choose what I have, what I want to apply, which is everything in this case. Then I just click on that. Now watch what happens when I go to this second image here. It's going to apply all of those adjustments, so it's updating that right now. Boom, done. So the flyaway hairs are gone. The glare in the glasses, gone. The armpit seam, the armpit fat, gone. Everything is gone. And so I only had to do that once. Of course, I can save that as a preset, and it's really crazy. I just want to show you the power of this stray hair removal. So we have this shot here of Cami. Notice when we go into 100%, she's got these little stray hairs going all over the place. I need to retouch her skin. Lucky for me, I've got a Cami headshot preset that I already made. Boom, okay. I just did all the frequency separation and everything with one click. It's insanity, but I need to clean up her hair. So all I have to do is go over here to hair, and then I can say stray hair removal. Let's try about 80%, and boom, there it is, it's gone. You can take that back. I can have just a few little wispy hairs if I want. So it's up to you to control what's going on. The other thing here that I'm seeing is she's got some scalp showing, and so I can go in here and I can say fill the hairline, the part, and so that will fill that in. It's pretty crazy. So before and after, it's really, really fun. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to show you something totally different. I have this shot here of Belladonna, a friend of mine. I have applied a preset that I made a little bit earlier, and you can see the before and after. The after shot, I've done way too much, and so she looks like a plastic Barbie doll. There's no facial features here whatsoever. So the point of this is to show you that you don't just surrender power to the AI and it just does whatever it wants. You have absolutely total control to adjust things and make sure things don't go too far. This has gone too far. So what I want to do is I want to bring back some of the features here of Belladonna and make sure that she looks like a human being and not a Barbie doll. So that's the before, that's the after. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go in to our blemish removal. And the first thing we've done here is we've gone into the eye bags and we've gone too far. So I'm gonna bring this back to about 40%, something like that. And now we can start seeing, okay, she actually has eyes that are in her face. They're not just plastered on there. This lower eyelids was at 0. And so let's bring that into about 50%. So now we have some actual lower eyelids. We shouldn't remove all of that stuff. In fact, I'm gonna make that a little bit darker. There we go. So now we're starting to see that she has eyes that are in a face, not just eyeballs that have been stuck on there. The other thing that we can see here is she has some smile lines and that have just evaporated. So we have this control here, this smile line control, which I think is really cool. So we can let the smile lines show up just as they are, or we can just subtly diminish those. And so I think I want to take that down to about 40%. That looks fantastic. And so now we're looking at something that is a real person, not just a plastic doll. Now the other thing I want to do, something I missed when I first did this, we see that her scalp here, and so I think we can do a little bit better. So I'm going to go in here to the hair. I'm going to use that same thing I showed you before, this fill hairline part line. And so this fill hair part line, so I'm going to slide that to the right, so it's bringing her hair closer together. So that looks a lot better than it did before. And so now we can look at that before and after. That looks fantastic. And now we can sync that to our second Belladonna shot here. So I will click sync, and then we can see that this second shot right here, it's updating. And then in a couple seconds, bammo. Whoops, I'll zoom back in and you can see that we've retouched that one as well very quickly. Okay, there's one more shot that I want to edit, and that's this one here of my friend Nikki. I want to show you the AI color tools and show you how that works really quickly. And so what I can do is on the right hand side, I've got these color adjustments. So to begin with, I'm going to make sure my tonality is set. So I've got this Nikki blue preset that I've already made that fixes the color temperature and does some retouching on her skin. But what I want to do is adjust this color a little bit more. So over here in color adjustments, I've got all that white balance and all the stuff that we're familiar with, but we also have this other panel here, this AI color adjustments. And so it's got neutral and vivid light and pure love, all these different things. So we can click on those to apply colors in an intelligent way. Because remember, Evoto knows where the face and the hair and the background and the eyes, all of that stuff is. So it's just not plastering color to the entire image equally. It's looking at that and applying things to different areas in an intelligent way, which is really interesting. So what I want to do is I can sort of click through these different things and see what works better and what doesn't work. And I think this one right down here, visual impact, is the one that I want. It's a little bit too much, so I'm going to take that down to about 50%, maybe a little bit more than that, about 70%, something like that. That looks pretty good. There are a couple other things that I need to do to this image. So one of those is if I look closely, she's got some red in her eyes. We know how to fix that. We'll just go over here to eyes. We've got this removing red veins. I can just slide that, And that is gone very, very quick. I don't have to go through and do all that manually. The other thing I want to do is I want to make her eyes a little bit brighter. So I'm going to bring that up to about 30. Let's flare the irises us a little bit. This is a cartoonish kind of a superhero-y look, so we can get away with some things. I'm going to add some catch lights there. I think that looks pretty darn good. And now we can see the before and the after. That's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to save that as a preset. And so I'm going to put that in Mark's presets. And I'm going to call this Nikki Superhero. I like that. So I'm going to save that. And now I can apply that to all of these other images. So I'm going to shift click. I'm going to say sync. We're going to apply everything. I will save that. So all of the retouching and everything that we did on this first image here is applied to all of the images that we shot in this set. So everything is done for me. I don't have to manually go through and do all the tedious stuff of using that healing brush tool and just setting masks and all that stuff. It's just done for me. It's really pretty incredible. There's one more thing I want to mention about Evoto, and that is you can shoot tethered. So right over here, you can click on this little camera here. You can connect your camera, and then as you're shooting, not only are images coming in, but you can choose what presets to use, which is pretty impressive because in other applications, you can choose presets, but all it's doing is it's fixing tonality and color and toning and things like that. What it's not doing is doing those frequency separations, fixing the background, removing dust spots, doing blemish removal, all of those things, adding catch lights, brightening the eyes, irises, stray hair removal. Those advanced things happen automatically when you tether. So as you're shooting, if you've got a model or somebody that maybe that's new and you don't want to show them unedited images, you don't have to. You can click and they come in, poof, they are edited and ready to see. So I think the tethered shooting is pretty darn spectacular. Well, that is Evoto. I think this is a really amazing tool, but don't take my word for it. I've included a link in the description of this video so you can download this software and you get 30 credits as a new user so you can use those to export your photos. So let me explain how that works. So the tool you can download, it's absolutely free to get that. All of the functionality that I've shown you in anything that's available in this tool, you can absolutely use to edit your images. It's included. Anything that's new that comes out in the future, it's included. And so it's sort of future proof. So the only time you need a credit is when you export an image. So once you've finished editing that image, if you want to export it, you need 1 credit. If you export an image and you want to make changes, you want to crop it, you want to recolor it, whatever, you can do that and export it again. It's not going to cost you any more credits. It's just that 1 credit. As many times as you export that image, it's that 1 credit. So you spend 1 credit per image that you export, no matter how many times you export that, how many different versions you export it, it's just that 1 credit. It's sort of an interesting way to do that. So instead of having a subscription where you're paying every month if you're using the software or not, you're paying as you go, which I think is a new model that, I don't know, I think that might catch on. It's really interesting. But again, you get 30 credits. You can check it out, see if it works for you. And I'm really curious what you think. So leave me a question, a comment, a suggestion. Let me know what you think about Evoto. And maybe if you have questions that you'd like me to cover in future episodes, let me know that as well, and I will do it. So make sure you click the like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again in the next episode.